Hello everyone and welcome to F1 2017 Career Mode. We're here for round number 1, the Australian Grand Prix. If you missed out the Career Mode trailer that came out last week, go check that out. Card will be in the top right hand corner. And we're just sorting our driver stuff. Now we're carrying it over from F1 2016. Same helmet, same avatar. It's the same. I want to keep some continuity with it, and it saves me having to redesign exactly the same helmet. So a nice little touch there from Codemasters. Now we're choosing our team. If you didn't watch the Career Mode trailer, well, it's all will be revealed now, I suppose. And we are going to be going to Renault Sport for F1 2017. You can see we're about 6th in the performance index, just a little bit behind Force Indy, but in a very tight midfield battle. And team expectations develop into a front runner. This team has fought for and won world championships throughout their history, and they're determined to reclaim their success over the course of a few seasons. They need drivers who can show consistency and willingness to dedicate themselves to rapid car development, which means that this is going to be quite a it's going to be quite the workout compared to F1 2016, where we started off with Red Bull Racing. So it's going to be a big challenge this year. Cyril Abitbul's our team principal. We're based in Enstone. It's the RS17 with the Renault engine, obviously. And yeah, it's going to be a challenge. We're going to have Nico Hulkenberg as our teammate. We're replacing Jolyon Palmer. And here are just some of the settings that we'll be using this season. Qualifying is on full, formation lap, 50% race, and our AI driver level's been set to 100 for the time being, but we will probably take that up. And yeah, there was our tyre allocation, and now we're about to meet our agent, who's going to talk to us about our contract.
Yes, and I respect that, but my client has a championship to contest, so if you want our participation, I'm afraid the concessions are mandatory. Yes, that's fine. Get back to me when you can. Goodbye. No one ever just signs the contract. Anyway, thanks for coming by on such short notice. I just needed to cover a couple of quick things with you before you race. Firstly, as requested, there's a copy of your contract. It's a rolling deal. However, the team reserves right of termination if you fail to meet performance standards. You're second driver for now, but work hard, hit your targets, and I'll be able to sweeten the deal. I'm also looking to get you into some invitational events throughout the season. The experience and exposure from these will be great for your image. Plus, you'll get to drive some nice historic cars. Now then, go get ready for the next session, and good luck.
Right, so that was our agent, and here is our new contract. Welcome to Renault Sport. We're delighted to have you on board and looking forward to working closely over the upcoming seasons. You will start as our second driver alongside Nico Hulkenberg, and we expect you to work together to help develop the car as quickly as possible. Now let's go out and win some points. That is from Renault. And here is the new laptop for this year. Very sleek looking. No one's bought any upgrades to this race by the looks of things. And yeah, we've got new practice programs, all sorts of things. We've got to look after our power unit. This slightly worries me a little bit with Renault, because in real life the reliability isn't quite there. So if that transfers into the game, which I'm pretty sure it does, we might be taking some engine penalties. Here we are then in practice, coming to the end of the track acclimatisation, and something that really has improved from last year is that you can just do everything pretty much with one lap and get it done. There's no faffing around for 3 or 4 laps. This is the fuel management test. This was really hard. Lifting and coasting really didn't work too much. As you see, as we come towards the line, we slam on the brakes, get it into the green. We had enough time on the delta, so we sort of cheated a little bit at the end of that one, but we needed those resource points. And here we are doing the qualifying simulation run. We're about 10th up at that time. We didn't have a great final couple of corners, and we're only just about going to make it, but we've got purple with just over a 10th to spare. This is the race simulation test, so we've done 3 laps on this one. We could have done 2, but we're going for purple on this one, and we actually do it on the 3rd lap. So our race pace is actually looking really good, a very strong race pace, which is good. And now we're going to see Chris, who's going to talk to us about how to spend all of our resource points.
Ah, you got my message. Perfect. Welcome to home away from home. We get more real-time data from the factory now than ever before, and it all comes through here. So I have to spend more time checking over the reports and less time hunting you down in the hospitality suite. To that end... Sorry, just a sec. Yeah, Chris here, is this important? I'm in the middle of something. Okay. Right. Well, that makes no sense. Have Sarah reset the simulation and run it again. Okay. Sorry about that. As I was saying, we've set up a desk for you at the front here. You can get onto the network from your laptop, so make sure to check the R&D screen regularly. And let us know how you want to use the data that we've collected over the weekend and through the practice programs. Also, bear in mind that the news from the factory won't always be good. Sometimes tests fail, like you've seen just now. And when that happens, we have to divert additional resources to fix it. C'est la vie, I'm afraid.
Right, so we're going to have a quick look at our R&D tree now, which does look very daunting, I must say. Here are all the resource points we've got so far. That was after FP2. And we're not going to spend any of the points until after qualifying. This looks more daunting than it is, actually. Once I started having a quick flick through this, it's actually really not that it's really not complicated at all. It looks a lot worse than it is. It's the development's split into 4 sections: the powertrain, the aerodynamics, the chassis, and durability. As you can see, our aerodynamics, we're the 4th best team for aero. So, although we're pretty nip and tuck with Williams and McLaren, Honda, and a couple of others, we're not going to be working on the aero so much. We're going to work on the chassis, because our chassis really isn't that high on the performance index, and of course the power unit as well isn't great. And durability is just making sure that things aren't going to fail on us too badly. So that's all pretty good, to be honest. So I think it's not too daunting, and we know where we need to improve the car, just looking at the performance index. And we're about to meet our new rival.
Hey, looks like you've got a bit of rivalry going on out there. This is good. Gets people talking about you. Just make sure you outperform them, okay?
Right, so obviously because it's the start of the game, our rival is going to be our teammate, Nico Hulkenberg. Probably going to be we've got to make sure you beat your teammate. So it'll be a tough rival to beat, I expect, as we've got our quali goals.
Hi, it's Emma. Your qualifying goals came up in the board meeting this morning. Here's what to expect.
Right, so here are our qualifying goals. Qualifying 11th and beat Nico Hulkenberg. It's going to be a challenge. The pace in practice over 1 lap, it wasn't amazing, it has to be said, but we do seem to have a good car for the race. So we'll see what we can do in qualifying. I'm now going to send you over to the commentary box to David Croft for the Australian Grand Prix qualifying.
Welcome to Melbourne, where qualifying for the Australian Grand Prix should be getting underway shortly.
So here we are in qualifying 1. We're doing our 2nd run in Q1 actually. We did do 1 run, and that's put us into P14. So we're going out again on another set of ultra soft tyres right at the end of the session, and we found in 4/10. Although we are losing a little bit of time in the final corner. It's a really difficult corner. We're definitely struggling through it. But it's still 3.5 tenths up. That puts us into P11. And we finished the session in P12. Nico Hulkenberg just scrapes through. Verline, Van Dorn, Ericsson Alonso and Carlos Sainz are the names to fall in Q1. Our teammate scrapes through. I say scrapes through. He got through by half a second. But yeah, disappointing for Toro Rosso and Carlos Sainz. Now we're into qualifying 2. And again, we've already done 1 run on a scrub set of tyres. And we're going out again on a brand new set of ultra soft tyres. In a way, I don't want to get through to Q3 because I don't want to start the race on the ultra soft tyre. To be honest, I want to try and start on the super soft if we can, but we will never get into Q3 if we try and qualify on the super soft. But given that we're P14, the chance of us getting into Q3 might be a bit slim. But having said that, we're 9 tenths up on our delta time already as we come through the final corner across the start-finish line. We go into P8. And then as the session ticks over, we get knocked out and we do actually meet our qualifying goal of P11. We outperform our teammate as well as us, Perez, Stroll, Hulkenberg and Magnussen all bite the dust. We were 2 tenths away from a Q3 spot. but I'll take 11th place. Free tyre choice for Sunday. And in a car which is very able to fight for points, I feel our race pace is really strong. So P11, fresh tyres, it's a really good place to start for the Grand Prix. And yeah, we're ahead of our teammate, which is going to do us the world of good as we're now getting a few more resource points. And we will spend them now after qualifying. We've got 2,830 something. Rivalry, we are leading the rivalry, and thank goodness they've gotten rid of the points for fastest sectors. It's good to see the sectors, but I'm glad we're not getting points for fastest sectors now, which is a good improvement in the rivalry from Codemasters there. But yeah, it's a good start to our rivalry with Nico Hulkenberg. We are leading that by 2-1 after qualifying, and to beat in our first qualifying session to beat Nico Hulkenberg, it definitely we've laid the gauntlet down to Hulkenberg. I'd say we've definitely given him something to think about. Team approval. Sauber and McLaren seemed quite happy with our performance, but no one else was really that interested. But we'll take it, and we're working our way towards becoming the #1 driver at Renault. Hopefully we can convince Cyril Abitbol to give us that.
Hey, how are you? I have some information on the race goals you should keep in mind.
So, race goals, 11th, beat Hulkenberg, and 11th, same as qualifying. Interesting, the team don't think we can score points. Let's wait with belt and braces on that. I definitely think we're in a good position to fight for a couple of points today. But yes, we've got to get ready for the race. We are going to do some upgrades as well. We will go into the R&D tree in just a second. But yeah, upgrades are going to be very, very important for us this season, and we've got a few to do. As I said, we're good on the aero side. The chassis is an area along with the powertrain. There we go. There we're going to do a powertrain upgrade. It should help us jump up the order a little bit. We're going to do an upgrade on the chassis, and we're going to do a durability upgrade as well, I think. Oh, and we might have a few points to do another little one, which should save us some resource points in the long run as well. But yes, time to get ready for the race. So we're going to send you over to the commentary box with Aeterno UK to talk you through the Australian Grand Prix.
Hello and welcome to Melbourne for the opening round of the 2017 Formula 1 season. I am Aeterno UK reporting from the beautiful Albert Park Street Circuit, which once again will be hosting the start of a new F1 season. So 2017 sees Formula 1 enter a new era of the sport with wider Pirelli tyres accompanying more aggressive aerodynamics for these V6 monsters. And with the increased cornering speeds for this year, expect many lap records to tumble between now and Abu Dhabi. However, will this come at a cost? Of course, we've seen cars struggle to follow each other even in the past 2 or 3 years, as well as overtaking being difficult. And will this regulation change make it even worse? Looking at the 2017 grid, we see faces both old and new. We've got Felipe Massa returning from the world's worst retirement, which lasted about a month, to accompany the 18-year-old Lance Stroll at Williams. Esteban Ocon moves from the now extinct Manor Racing to join the Pink Panthers Force India, while Nico Hulkenberg leaves Vijay Mallya's team for the Renault factory team, where he will partner the rookie Callum Byrne, who makes his step up from GP2. However, all eyes will be on the jaw-dropping possibility of a Lewis Hamilton versus Sebastian Vettel battle for the title, or will it be the two Finns of Valtteri Bottas and Kimi Raikkonen to upset the apple cart? Today will give us a glimpse of what is to come in the future, but now it is the grid with David Croft.
Well then, after an exciting qualifying session yesterday, let's take a look at how the cars line up. Good job yesterday from Valtteri Bottas. The Finn starts from pole position, with Sebastian Vettel starting alongside. Looking down the rest of the grid, we have Hamilton, Raikkonen, Max Verstappen and Ricciardo, Massa, Grosjean, Kvyat and Esteban Ocon, a Renault, Perez, Lance Stroll and Hulkenberg, Magnussen, Sainz, Fernando Alonso and Marcus Ericsson, Van Dorn and Pascal Wehrlein completes the grid. And with lights out just moments away, it's time to go down to the track.
So here we are on the grid for our first ever Formula 1 Grand Prix in our rookie season. As you can see there, Valtteri Bottas took his maiden pole position in his first race for Mercedes. And we're just getting underway for the formation lap. So with the, I would say with the lead car on the super soft tyre, but you may have noticed in Q2, Sebastian Vettel, who shares the front row with Valtteri Bottas, qualified on the super soft compound tyre. So Sebastian Vettel could be a real favourite to win this race. It's going to be a one-stop for us. Let's see what we can do. 5 red lights here in Australia. And away we go, and it's been a pretty good launch. We're going to throw the car up into Richmond. We've had a better start than Esteban Ocon in the Force India. There's a fast starting car behind us. I think that's Lance Stroll on the left-hand side. We're going to go down the middle, not the inside. We couldn't get there. There was a bit of contact with Daniel Kvyat through turn 1, but we've managed to both get through. And Kvyat's even passed Ocon as we're now trying to get past Romain Grosjean. We've dived it up the inside, past Ricciardo and Felipe Massa, and we've pulled our Renault from 11th to 6th. Already as Lewis Hamilton's scrapping away with a couple of Ferraris, and now that's allowed us to close up. They're all slowing up ahead, and Max Verstappen is vulnerable down into the chicane at turns 6 and 7, and we have moved up into 5th place in this Australian Grand Prix. It's been a phenomenal start. Fast starting Renault from us, and wow, what can I say? I don't think we're going to be able to chase Raikkonen and the 2 Mercedes, but we're ahead of both Red Bulls already, although I'm sure Max Verstappen's going to have something to say about that. He's not going to be like being mugged off down into turn 6 as we come through the fast chicane in turns 10 and 11. And we could be quite vulnerable there. We were really struggling in qualifying with traction out of turn 10, and we've got to just keep an eye that these guys don't get a good run of this. And here's a replay then of the start, some new graphics for us this year compared to F1 2016. As you can see, I think it was the 2 Force Indias came together down in turn 1, which is why Ocon lost the place to Daniel Kvyat. And I think he might have stayed behind his teammate as well, as you can see us diving at the inside of Ricciardo and Felipe Massa. Pretty opportunistic. Fair play to Felipe Massa. He definitely saw us coming, and I think it was Lewis Hamilton going side by side with one of the Ferraris, which allowed the concertina, which caused the concertina effect, which allowed us to get the run on Max Verstappen. But in a way, we are very much out of position now, so we've got to just keep an eye on that as we're on board with Lewis Hamilton now. You can see it was a good start for Kimi Raikkonen from the second row of the grid, and Hamilton hangs it around the outside. There is a bit of contact. He throws up the hand in frustration, but now all of a sudden he's got a run on Sebastian Vettel, who's on the super soft compound tyre. He goes up the inside into turn 3. So you get very close, they make contact again, and the hand is thrown up again by Lewis Hamilton, who goes around the outside of turn 4. Brilliant move from Lewis Hamilton, and that is the concertina. That was what caused the concertina as he slowed up through turn 5. Now we're on board with Daniel Kvyat, and we'll see the contact that we made with the Toro Rosso. You can see we just ploughed into a gap that was just sort of there, and now we're on board with Ricciardo, and you can see the move we made on Felipe Massa and the Australian, who has dropped down the grid a little bit as Ricciardo, down in, I think it's about 8th place, 7th or 8th place, so not where he'll want to be, and not where the Australian fans will really want him to be, as we're on lap 5 now. We're just fending off Verstappen. He is looking very racy into the fast chicane at turns 11 and 12. Our traction is not good out of turn 10, as we're now looking at the tyre wear on lap 6. Of course, the tyres are so much more durable on this game. We don't really have to worry about tyre wear too much. Have to keep an eye on it, of course. And now on lap 8, we've lost Felipe Massa from this race down at turns 3 and 4. I think that's where he's parked up. What has happened to Felipe Massa? As he comes into turn 3, it's a big engine blowout. The Mercedes engine in the first race for Felipe Massa has expired after only 8 laps. That must be a worry for Mercedes-Benz, as now we're trying to keep an eye on Max Verstappen behind us on lap 8. Our pace early on the super soft compound tyre has been really good. We've been able to keep pace with the Red Bull. Verstappen hasn't been pressurising us too much, and if anything, Daniel Ricciardo has dropped back a little bit, although he is now, by the end of lap 9, he's caught up to us, and there's another yellow flag down to turns 11 and 12 where our teammate is, and you can see our teammate just in the distance. Some of the ultra soft runners have already pitted, and it looks like Kevin Magnussen's had an engine failure, so another engine has expired after only 9 laps, and it's the Ferrari engine this time inside Kevin Magnussen's car. We now cut back to the live action with us as Max Verstappen is shaping up a move around the outside into turn 1. We're just going to hold the inside line a little bit. Don't want to be too tight on the apex, otherwise we'll never carry the momentum through. And now on lap 10, we might be coming into the pit lane, I think, because Daniel Ricciardo has got the undercut on us. So we're going to dive into the pit lane now. Verstappen follows us in, but we've got to respond. Daniel Ricciardo with the undercut. And I think we've just lost Daniel Kvyat from this race as well as we entered the pit lane. Daniel Kvyat in the Toro Rosso is now out of the Australian Grand Prix. We'll find out what happened to him in just a minute. What's the stop light from Renault? It's a good stop. We get a good release. Of course, it's manual releases. And we've got to sort the pit limiter out on F1 2017. Something new to watch out for as we come out of the pit lane now. We're looking around. There is Daniel Ricciardo making a move on Marcus Ericsson Sauber. And we have rejoined behind the Australian. And we have lost a place. The undercut has worked for Ricciardo, and we've got to now see if we can chase after him. We've got the car into Rich, we go up the inside of Ericsson into turn 3. Can we just get close enough to Ricciardo to maybe just try a sort of lunge at him and get the place back? But we have lost the position now.
Did Daniel stop? Yes, Max. Daniel unfortunately has jumped us both. What a disaster.
As you can tell, Max Verstappen not happy at all with his team by undercutting him with Daniel Ricciardo. Ricciardo's got both of us, and here's what happened then to Daniel Kvyat. We're watching a battle between Pascal Wehrlein and Stoffel van Dorn. Through turn 5, there's contact. Wehrlein's out of control, and he crashes with Daniel Kvyat. Here's the onboard with Wehrlein. There's contact with the back of the McLaren, and as the back end swings away from him, Kvyat is so unlucky. So unlucky, and Wehrlein is lucky to still be in the race, and you'll see Kvyat had nowhere to go, could do nothing to avoid that accident, and the front right suspension on his Toro Rosso is very much broken as we're now trying to chase Daniel Ricciardo a little bit more. As you see, he's just escaped up the road a little bit, and there's now I think there's a McLaren Honda of Fernando Alonso between us now. So Ricciardo making his way through some of the traffic at the moment. Oh, that's it. We're just catching Fernando Alonso, sorry. So you can see we're still just about in touch with Daniel Ricciardo. You can see on the helicopter shot. And now on lap 12, you can see Ricciardo has just passed Fernando Alonso. And he's been held up quite nicely by the McLaren. And we're just trying all we can to try and close up to the back of these guys. We're just trying to push as best as we can, as hard as we can, to try and catch Ricciardo as we hit the back of Alonso into the penultimate corner at turn 15. We lose a lot of momentum, and that's going to put Max Verstappen back on it, right on the gearbox now as we come down the main straight. But luckily we do have DRS to defend with, because we were within a second of Fernando Alonso, and Verstappen is not close enough to us as we come through turns 1 and 2. And we'll live to fight another day, and you can really tell how slow the McLaren Honda is in a straight line, although it's hard for us to catch him as we lunged up the inside of turn 3. There's a little bit of contact on the apex, but we just about squeeze it through, and we put a car between us and Max Verstappen as we get on the really horrible big curb on the exit of turn 4, and Alonso thinks he can have a little go at us into turn 5, and you'll see on the replay here we just didn't outbrake us, we were just so much quicker into the fight at the penultimate corner that we hit the back of Fernando Alonso. No damage to the front wing, but we did spin the rear tyres and have a little drift, and there's our little move up the inside of Fernando Alonso. Now on lap 15, we've caught up to our teammate Nico Hulkenberg, who is yet to pit. He started on the soft compound tyre, and after 15 laps, we are effectively a pit stop ahead of our experienced teammates. So I don't know how easy he's going to make it for us. He didn't do a good job of holding up Daniel Ricciardo, who's already trying to get past Lance Stroll just up the road. That Williams very, very quick in a straight line. Very difficult to pass. As now through the chicane we go. We've got a great exit now. We're going to the inside. Hulkenberg squeezes us into the wall almost. There's almost an aeroplane crash in the third sector. Down into turn 13. We go up the inside of our teammate, who has a bad exit. But my goodness, that was so close to a huge crash with our teammate, who squeezes us onto the grass, almost into the wall. That was very frightening, it must be said. I thought our race might have been over there, as we could just about squeeze through. Hulkenberg just about left us enough room. As we see on board with Max Verstappen, now on board with us, you'll see on the slow-mo just how close we get to contact with our teammate and contact with the wall. Whew, that was tight, that was tense, that was great racing. As now we've caught up to the back of Lance Stroll just a lap later, and he is diving straight into the pit lane. And I think our teammate will follow him in, although Max Verstappen will have another go at us. But we've got DRS from Stroll, although Verstappen is very close. He goes to the outside for turn 1. We'll give him a bit of room. We just take our line. As we're now looking at the how worn our engine is after just 18 laps, as we brush the wall there on the entrance to turn 5. Already our internal combustion engine is at 19%. So, oh my goodness, we've lost Sebastian Vettel. Vettel is out of the Australian Grand Prix. He was dominating it, he was leading it, and he's had a gearbox failure with just 10 laps to go or so, give or take. And Sebastian Vettel is out, and we're now battling for 4th place. That's because the front runners, the top 2 teams, have gone for a 2-stop strategy. We are now ahead of Kimi Raikkonen. Bottas and Hamilton managed to rejoin in front of us, and Raikkonen did not. And now we're holding off Raikkonen and Verstappen. We're defending like crazy, and around the outside goes Kimi Raikkonen on Max Verstappen. He gets the move done. I think we hampered Verstappen's run, as we'll see on the replay. I think we gave him a little bit of a chop going down this mini straight between turns 10 and 11. You see we're going almost 3 wide into the fast chicane. Verstappen gets done around the outside by Raikkonen, gives him the inside and shoves him off the track. You'll see on board now with Max Verstappen. We just open the door a little bit, he goes to go for it, and we just cut across him quite sharply, to be honest, to defend from Raikkonen, and that allows Verstappen to get done by Kimi Raikkonen. As you'll see on board with Raikkonen's front wing in the slipstream, that Ferrari is so quick. It's about at least 2 seconds a lap quicker than us in qualifying trim, and it's a second a lap quicker than us in race trim. So keeping Raikkonen behind is going to be one heck of a task. Is now on lap 23. Raikkonen down the main straight with the DRS, flies past us. We hold the inside line, we squeeze him out on the entrance to turn 2, and we hang on to 4th place. These points could be so crucial to us at the end of the season. Here comes Raikkonen again on the run down towards turn 3 here on lap 26. We've just got a few laps to go. We hold the inside line, run the car out wide.
We need to pick up the pace a little bit for the last couple of laps.
So give me a full power then.
Raikkonen not happy at all that he can't find a way past at the moment. We're compromising his and Ferrari's race. We're handing the podium to Daniel Ricciardo. He could be the first Australian to finish on the podium here in Australia. Is now on the end of 26, the start of lap 27. We've got Raikkonen right behind us now. As still he's just trying to go around the outside into turn 1. We hold the inside line, we run it out wide on the exit. Now on the start, we're about to start our final lap. Raikkonen still pushing like crazy to try and get past our Renault. We're making this car as wide as we can. We're saving up the fuel just to use it on the straights. But Valtteri Bottas wins his first ever Grand Prix. The tyres are screaming with 63% on the front left tyre. We've run these tyres a lot longer than I expected to, because we had to cover off Ricciardo's undercut. Raikkonen though, not close enough. He tries a lunge around the outside at turn 13. That's not going to work, and we're just a couple of corners home. We're saving a bit of fuel, saving as much battery as we can to deploy down the main straight, because Raikkonen's going to have such a good run. We need to keep it neat and tidy through the penultimate corner, get a good run through the final corner. We keep it nailed, we keep it floored, we run a little bit wide on the exit curb, and now here comes Raikkonen. We squeeze to the inside. We just about fend him off, and it's P4 on debut.
Guys, listen to me. This is a win for us. This is a win. Unbelievable from everyone. Unbelievable.
And after this round of the World Championship, here's how things look in the drivers' table. Valtteri Bottas takes over the lead of the Drivers' Championship after an excellent result.
So, here we go. What an incredible Australian Grand Prix that was. Whew, P4 for Renault from 11th to 4th. Incredible, incredible result. We've beaten a Ferrari, a Red Bull, both Force Indias. Great result for us. Fernando Alonso almost gets into the top 10 for McLaren as well. Hulkenberg couldn't get into the points. His strategy just didn't work. Our original strategy was the same as his. And I'm glad we changed it to the super soft, then to the soft, because it allowed us to cover off these guys. And we might have got in the points, but it wouldn't have been as high up. And the strategy definitely worked out for us today, although we did finish 40 seconds off the lead. You can see the guys around us, their lap times were much quicker than ours. We did a 1 minute 28.5. That was good enough for about 8th place in the end, so we majorly overperformed. Bad day for Ferrari. 2 of their engines went boom, and more importantly, Sebastian Vettel's, while he was leading, a race win slips away from Ferrari, and they've handed a 1-2 today to Mercedes-Benz. Incredible scenes. Driver standings, same as the race result. We sit in 4th place. It's probably the highest we're going to be this year. Incredible stuff. Renault are 3rd in the championship. Can we put up a fight for 4th place in this constructors battle? That's something I think is the goal. I think 5th is what we need to aim for, but who's to say we can't get 4th? I presume Ferrari will get us sooner or later, probably at the next race in China. Resource points, we've got 468 of them. And in the rivalry, little update there. We are leading the rivalry by 6-3. Hulkenberg hasn't gained any points on us this weekend in the rivalry, which is a good start. Reputation level, Ferrari, very impressed with that. Mercedes, not too fussed, to be honest. Toro Rosso also quite impressed, along with Williams, Force India. But Ferrari, very, very impressed with what we achieved this weekend. And you can see that Renault very happy as well. Our career score, this it is. And now we're about to meet Jonathan.
Is this the one?
Indeed it is. And this is Jonathan. He's going to let you drive some of his cars.
Well, not quite my cars, per se. It's a mere detail. You know, I'd really rather be down there racing them myself, to be honest. I'm actually quite handy behind the wheel, but it's the downforce, those lateral Gs, you know? The old neck can't really handle it. So I need a pro. And that's where you come in. We run in a bunch of events throughout the year. Time trials, races, all sorts. And I have it on good authority that you have the ability and temperament to do well in these. Make our business look good and, most importantly, bring the cars back in one piece. So consider this a formal invitation. I'll see you at the track.
So here we are in Suzuka, because of course we've been invited to drive the Renault R26 from 2006 in this pursuit race. Of course, we drive for Renault Sport, so obviously we're going to be driving the Renault as our first car in this little invitational event. So we've got 3 laps around the short version of Suzuka, and we've got to win, despite the fact they've all had a head start on us. 5 red lights, and away we go then. And it's got to be one of the worst starts I've ever had on a Formula 1 game, completely bogged down off the line, and that's going to make our job just a little bit harder as we fly through the first couple of corners. Now we cut towards lap 2, where we've caught up to the Williams FW14B, I think it is. Around the outside we go, and we've now got to try and catch the 1998 McLaren that powered Mika Hakkinen to a world championship as we go up the inside, and of the Ferrari as well. Slung it into turns 1 and 2. We get squeezed out on the exit, but we go around the outside of turn 3 into the S's. And we move up into second place. We've only got a couple of corners to go now to win this pursuit race, but we're right behind the McLaren now. Can we find a way round? It's very narrow, very tight. We fly around the outside, easy as you like. As we come through the final corner now, we're going to win this pursuit race to end this episode 1 of F1 2017 career mode. Guys, if you enjoyed that, do leave a like, subscribe if you're new. We've got a whole season of career mode ahead of us. Lots of F1 2017 content, lots of real-life Formula 1 content. Check out the Spa vlog from just yesterday. And until the next race, which will be on Saturday, I will see you around. Take care and goodbye.